Welcome back to the Shabbos Treasures series. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, and I'm here together with my co-host,
Rabbi Samuel Ross, and we are delighted to be able to share a weekly idea that you can take into your Shabbos and upgrade and beautify immediately. Enjoy. These are our questions for you. And now the one I put in the group was filtering tap water. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Getting a nice glass of Manchester or Leeds. I don't know if we've got Stephen with us right now. He knows, of course, he's our water expert. But, a nice glass of Leeds water or Liverpool water. And, just before I have it, maybe I'll put it through a water filter, or maybe I'm really high tech and I've got a water filter attached to my tap. Am I allowed?
Is it to do with good from bad?
Aha!
Yeah, I was gonna say no because you're changing it.
Sorry?
I was gonna say you can't do it because you're changing it.
Interesting. So maybe you're changing it, maybe it's the good from the bad. Anyone else?
Prepare it before Shabbos.
Okay, so maybe you could get around the problem preparing it before Shabbos. I'm going to throw two, and Darren, you could, like, if everyone in doubt, do before Shabbos, but I'm going to throw a couple of things back at you. Number one, if it's allowed, it's allowed. And second of all, let's say you've got one of these, high-tech taps that's got the filter built onto it. So what do you want me to do? That's my water filter. Either if it's not allowed, then I have to deal with it. Maybe I have to dismantle it. But if it is allowed, then what's the problem? Okay, anyway, that's the first thing we're looking at tonight. We're going to look at filtering tap water. Anyone else? Got some really good brains on here. Anyone else? Any potential issues with filtering tap water? Other than what Bev and Maddie have brought to our attention tonight. Okay, we'll have to come back to you. One or two other things that we're going to look at tonight, just to give you a feel of where we're going to go. And then, we'll give you an introduction. Robertson Giller, maybe you want to give us, a couple more questions that we're going to look at this evening.
can you use a salt shaker?
Mm-hmm. Does anyone know what a salt shaker is out of interest?
Do you mean a salt shaker or a salt grinder?
A shaker.
A shaker.
Let's pretend this is the salt shaker. But it isn't.
Yes, you can use it.
Of course you can.
I'm sure you had one on your table.
Yes.
Under all circumstances?
Yeah.
Let's hope it's do as we do, not just do as we say, right?
You've given me a challenge to come up with some circumstances that it's not okay, but we'll see. Anything else, Reverson? Anything else to throw at us?
What about if you're filtering, you buy those like orange juice with bits in that, like, obviously there's one person in the house that drinks it and everyone else can't stand
I
it.
love the bits. It makes you feel this orange juice, right?
It's an orange, right?
Then you're not allowed to filter that.
Ooh.
Oh, he's tough. He is a tough man.
Hold on.
You like the pulp though, that's why you're saying that.
Exactly.
Real hard liver public.
It's healthy.
Messing over there. Okay. Another one, maybe. Another one, or we're good?
Is orange, is that not the same? I'm trying to remember, didn't we, when we were talking about separating?
Yeah.
Is that not the same thing?
Go on.
It's not two different things. Wasn't there
Okay, we're going to have to see.
that? Sorry.
What I'm doing right now is actually very naughty, Hayden and Bev and everyone else. I am confusing you because you both remember Bores separating very well. What I have not taught you yet, we're going to learn this now, is that there are actually three of the 39 melachas separating. The main one is Bores separating. There's another one called Zero that we're not going to deal with because it's very, very small. But the other one we're going to deal with tonight. And it's even complicated and as to exactly what the cutoff is, where Bores sort of ends. And the one we're going to deal with tonight, which is called sifting, even begins. And please God, we'll see a little bit of the difference. And I think once we see the difference, I think we get a feel. I think we get a bit of a feel of this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to define. This is the next one of the melachas. The next one of the forbidden works called sifting. Merachi, sifting. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to define what the melacha of merakid, the work, the one, it's actually one of the 39 called sifting is. Okay, maybe we'll turn this over to my other half.
Is it because you're tired? You want me to take
I am not tired. What are you suggesting over there?
So what is it? It is the separation and removal of something that you don't want from a mixture by sifting it.
Whoa.
So you can either do that through a sieve or a similar device. For example, is like icing sugar. If you want to sift the icing sugar from the clumps of sugar and you put it through a sieve, that would be that would not be okay. But the thing to bear in mind is that if you have just plain icing sugar, like it's non-clumpy, and you want to just put a little bit of icing sugar, dust it on a cake, that you would be allowed to do. The problem is if you're trying to sift the unclumpy bits from the clumpy bits, that would be a that would be a classic case of this melacha. So it's the act of separating or isolating something from a mixture, and it's not merely scattering or sprinkling particles. Like, okay, is that kind of clear?
So again, I think that's beautifully said. But again, I think in terms of what Hayden and Bev were saying, you're discussing bury, you're discussing separating. So I think the technical difference is going to be whether you're using some sort of apparatus to do it with. I think it's the same sort of idea. Again, we'll use some examples, and now you're understanding why we're looking at things like filtering tap water, because you're going to have good, you're going to have bad. Just using that as an example, we'll see in a couple of minutes. But the real difference you're going to have is, are we using a sophisticated device, which in this case might be a filter, might be a sieve, or might be whatever it is. Again, we could look at some case studies. Our pressed fruit juice, or getting rid of wine from sediment. We're going to look at all of these examples. Some will be okay, some won't. But I think that's the real difference. Are you using the apparatus to get rid of the bad from the good?
Can I ask a quick question about that example that Gila used with the icing sugar? So is it the act of separating the clumps out that is forbidden, or is it so what I'm trying to say is, let's say you separate it out, but then you crush it through again, so it goes through. Do you see what I mean? So you're not left with the clumps in the sieve afterwards. Have you still separated it?
Is what you're asking that if you do it more than once, is it okay? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so sometimes what happens is you do that and then you crush it through with a spoon, so it all goes through as a powder anyway. So you're not left with the clumps in the sieve. Do you know what I mean? Or
so if I'm clear what the question is, I think it depends why you're doing it. Are you just spread, the thin coating, or are you doing it in order to sieve it? But Hayden, I'm going to tell you something that is a fundamental difference between this and Bora. Again, does everybody remember Bora? There are 3 ways that you can get around the problem. If you do the good from the bad, remember our chocolate and our peanuts?
Oh yeah, you use it straight away.
Straight away and with your hand.
Hands.
Okay. When it comes to sifting, it's irrelevant whether the good or the bad thing is being removed. It's totally irrelevant. Either way, it's no good. If you've got a sieve and the good thing comes through, it doesn't matter. Like, let's just use our orange juice. And the orange juice comes through and I'm immediately behind the pulp. Let's just use Darren's example. I'm not getting into whether it's okay or not right now, but the concept is it doesn't make a difference whether you're taking the good from the bad or the bad from the good in this format. Something like that won't make any difference. The moment you're using this sophisticated apparatus like a sieve, really sophisticated, right? Okay, maybe not. But the point is that it is a piece of apparatus. So once you're using it, it's no good. Okay, now we're going to narrow this down. It's only a problem when you are significantly improving that which you are touching. And Gila's going to give us an example in a minute. Maybe she'll look at water. Water is maybe the classical example of this. And it's quite complicated. So I'm pleased that I'm giving it over, the example over into very good hands. It really is quite complicated. But again, I want to say that again. The problem is using apparatus. You're using you're using something to separate, what's in the sieve. You're using something, the good from the bad from the good. but it has to significantly improve it. If you don't significantly improve it, even if you're using a sieve or you're using whatever you're using, it's going to be okay. Okay, now let's give an example. Let's use our water. Again, it's a shame I don't see Stephen right now, because Stephen would be the expert at being able to tell us in different parts of the country whether water is being significantly improved with a filter or whether it's just being improved. It's like this: if it's being significantly improved, then you can't do it. But if it's just being improved and it's slightly better, then you could do it. Oh, Stephen, you're there. You're there. This is so exciting. We're discussing your thing tonight. So again, sifting. The point is that when you're using an apparatus to separate one thing from another, you're no good. You've broken Shabbos. But what we're saying is that it's only a problem when you're significantly improving the thing that was there. So Stephen, I'm gonna ask you practicalities here. If you were in Liverpool, you do water, that's your expertise. You do water in Liverpool. If I don't use a filter, can the average person drink it?
Yes.
Where in the country could you not drink the water? It would be so gross that I actually couldn't drink it.
Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, we said in this country.
Let's say in this country, or could you think of other places?
If you get it from the toilet.
It's very late at night, so I'm going to move on. And again, we're going to give you examples here. And Stephen, hold on to this. Gila is now going to give us some examples of how it applies. But again, you've got the concept. The concept is it will never be an issue unless it's a significant improvement. But if I could have used it, and I'm just improving it a little bit, then it's okay. Okay, Rebecca, so you want to fill us in over here?
Yeah. So as Rabbi Ross said, that if it's so bad, people wouldn't drink it under almost any circumstances. So then filtering would be a problem. You can't do it on Shabbos.
Still clutching your toilet rolls.
Without even getting into whether it's toilet water.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. So then you would not be a thing. Another example, for example, if you have a tea, right? And like with bits of tea leaves in it, then again, you wouldn't. Most people are not going to want to drink that without actually having to filter it out. Or coffee with the coffee, bits of coffee grind in it. People won't want to drink that without filtering it. So you would not be able to filter it out. Same thing with wine, if it's got sediment, bits of sediment in it as well. Most people are not going most people won't want to drink it. So you would not be able to filter out because you're significantly improving the drink.
So in the end, let's put that into the positive. When could one?
One minute.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead.
Fair enough.
But
no,
even if it's a drink that could be drunk, but most people would only drink it filtered, right? So let's say there's tap water which is drinkable, but it's just not very nice until it's filtered. Maybe it's cloudy, maybe it's just not very fresh tasting. Then you also wouldn't be allowed to filter it because it is also a significant improvement. So when are you allowed to do it? So if it's a tap water, for example, that it's drinkable, most people drink it without filtering it, right? Then you can just filter it, and you prefer to filter it.
Okay, so I think what we're getting is liquids that are drinkable to most people that are okay, which I think would mean that our tap water we're okay with. Stephen, I think our tap water in England, again, when we first moved to, we lived in Albert Avenue. The tap water was absolutely disgusting.
Just depends how hard it is.
It was just horrible. Whereas the tap water we have here is fine. Like I don't get that. I mean, maybe explain to you why you're a 10-minute walk away, why there should be such a difference. But the reality is, unless it our tap water here, some people may filter it, but you could drink it without. I think even if it would be less than that, even if it would be a little bit worse than what we have here, I think it would be okay. If you as an individual are finicky and would not drink that water under any circumstances, then you personally can't. Then you can't.
Is it just better to buy bottled water then?
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to start spending extra money in terms of that. unless unless it really is an issue, unless it's really bad water that's cloudy or something like that, you're allowed to use a filter. It's okay.
Well, you could filter it before Shabbos if you're particularly finicky and you won't drink it without.
Yeah, but I think what we're saying again, the principle of meraket, of sifting, was you're sort of separating these things with an apparatus. But we're saying it's only ever an issue with something that significantly improves it, which means that the average person, is not gonna want to drink it. It's not going to be pleasant. But if you could drink it, most people would drink it, even if it's not the best in the world, then you're going to be okay. So that was our first question. Our first question was tap water. So guys, what do you say? Are you allowed to filter tap water?
Yes.
Yes, in a place where most people would be able to drink it without filtering. Okay. The second question was straining foods with a sieve. You've got all sorts of vegetables in it, or whatever it is that you just don't want.
No, you can't.
Correct, Aaron. Correct. Absolutely not. That is a classical example of meraket, of sifting. The next one was sifting clumps from powdered baby food.
What do the people think?
Also no.
Correct. Also no. Gilla, maybe you want to take us away with number 4, the salt shaker.
How to use the salt shaker on Shabbos? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Perfect, Darren. Why is it okay?
Because you're not sifting, you're just pouring. It's
Perfect. Yeah.
And you have it in your house.
Right. In theory, if there would be some sort of thing in it you're trying to hold back, something like that, then it could be an issue, but otherwise you're okay. By the way, I'm just thinking while we're speaking, those of you who've ever been in my kitchen while I am making tea on Shabbos, if you ever notice, you will see that I don't pull the tea bag out with my hand. I always use a spoon. Could anyone guess why? We're not into right now in terms of the laws of cooking as to whether you can or can't use a tea bag. Always, you could, according to most spinners, you can use a tea bag. Let's just go with that. It's in my third vessel, whatever it is. I do not use my hand to pull out a tea bag.
Because you're doing it in a different way, which is one of the Shabbat.
I'll tell you why, Darren. It's the same thing, because the bag would be an instrument in separating the essence from the tea bag. That's why I use a spoon. So once you use the spoon, you just take it in.
Because you're filtering it. You're filtering the tea out.
Once you use your hand, again, the bag is this instrument, and in effect, you're using an instrument to filter. Once you use the spoon, nothing's coming out. You're just picking it up and throwing it straight out. Once you use your hand, you're lifting it up. You're potentially getting into this.
So is that the same if you lifted up your knee and pushed it with your knee?
I think it depends how the spoon is just getting rid of it straight away. If you didn't have a spoon, I think you could just use your hand fast and lift it out. But if you're starting to lift it in and lift it out and stuff like that, you are getting into this. Finally, what about filtering fruit juice? My orange juice.
Yes, that's okay.
Why is it okay? And when?
Because you're not significantly improving it. Some people might say you are, but
Maddie, a sister, Hayden.
So this is the story. This is the story. I think Hayden's onto something. I think, and again, Ramosha Feinstein speaks about it, and he says, I think it depends whether it's the pulp, or whether it's basically whether it's going to be minor things in the juice or whether it's major things. If it's just a minor thing there, maybe the pulp that you could drink without it, it doesn't really matter.
Can I just ask you then, in regards to that, just say you've got a can of fruit cocktail and you want to drain the juice out of the fruit. Can you do that?
If it would be a fruit cocktail.
So like the fruit cocktail in a tin.
Yeah.
And you wanted to serve it without the juice. Can you sieve the juice away?
You strain the juice from it.
No, so again, I think that is either going to be the issue of bora, of sorting, or if you're using an apparatus of meraket, of sifting. If it's bora, then you have to do the good from the bad. The moment you're using apparatus, it doesn't even make a difference if you're taking the bad from the good. You can't use an apparatus to do it. But if it's orange juice and it's something which is really insignificant, unless it's a bit of pulp and you can drink it anyway, that's okay. But the moment you're dealing with particles which are thicker than that, let's say you've got lots of seeds there or something like that, you cannot filter that. You're getting into the issue. So again, let's just quickly sum up
what about someone who hates the pulp? Would they be able to sift it?
What do you say, guys?
Yes.
Hello, Nicola.
Hi, Nicola.
What was the question then?
If you hate the pulp of the orange juice, can you strain the orange juice to get rid of the pulp?
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think you guys have done really, really awesome tonight. Again, what we've really seen is melacha sifting. We're using our apparatus, the separating unwanted from the good. We're using a sieve or something like that. We're trying to get our carrots and our chicken soup. It has to significantly improve.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
you got to remember you can't take the good from the bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're good. You're invited back.
Is there big changes when it's Yontif instead of Shabbos?
Yes. No, very good. But Nicola, what we've learned tonight is that when one uses an apparatus like a sieve, you can't even take the good from the bad. Normally, you have to take the good from the bad, but once you use apparatus like a sieve, believe it or not, you can't even take the good from the bad. A sieve is a different one of the laws, and it makes it's actually even harsher. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. It's been amazing. And
thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. You can get in touch with me. You can find me on Instagram. It's Gila Ross. And please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. Thank you and have a wonderful day.